Episode 5. I can't believe I have done 5 episodes. I swear, time goes by so freaking fast. This episode, I'm going to have my friend Angel join me. Hi, Adriana. Okay. All right, let me see. Yes, lucky number 5. Lucky number 5. Hi. Hi, Angel.
I'm so excited.
Yes, look, feature Lulu. She have to feature herself every video. Say
Oh,
hi. Put her down.
hello. I see her reels and her TikToks and
Yes. She's so spoiled.
oh my
It's freaking
gosh.
ridiculous. How you been?
I've been doing so good. I'm so busy and
That's a good thing.
yeah, having
Is
the
it over?
spa and 2 kids. I mean, it's a lot, you
So we're
know.
gonna talk about it tonight.
No,
So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? But first, is the music too loud? Or is it okay?
it's okay. I can hear you and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Angelica or Angel, and I'm a mother of 2 kids, and I own a spa. I became an esthetician, and here I am, and I'm just so excited to be here and still
Yes.
having you in my life after so many years.
How many years? So this is a back thing, you guys. I've been knowing Angel since what? I was like
2010,
17, turning 18. Yeah, I was 18. Just turned 18. That's
2010 is when I started at the urgent care when we worked together. So it's been, I can't even do the math
Oh
right
no, no,
now.
no, wait. It was 2012. It was
Did you?
2012 because I just graduated high. I think you were there before me. You were
Yeah,
there
I was
before
there
me.
in
That's why.
2010. Yeah.
Yes. And then I joined in 2012. Oh my goodness. Wait, can I just tell this little quick backstory when you were pregnant with
Yes.
Kaden? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I would never, I know we talk about this every time we see each other, but
It truly is amazing. My grandmother was literally sitting by my side and she was like, I have never seen anything like this ever. And the nurses were all like astonished, like,
man. Oh,
no,
wait,
go
I
right
didn't even
ahead.
tell them. So, guys, when she was pregnant with Kaden, literally, we worked every shift together.
Every
And he
day.
only moved for me like I was the baby daddy.
Yeah, it's her voice. I don't know what it was. It's just like it's so beautiful, and we were
Oh,
with each other all the time. So
literally.
when I was pregnant, that's the only voice really between his father and you that he heard almost every single day.
Man, I remember when you took a test.
Yeah, that. Woo!
I remember that. And
So
his
do you want
is
to?
how old now?
He's going to be 12 this July. So that
What
baby, so
the
Caden only moved for you. And then when I was giving birth, he like that my contractions were horrible. He didn't want to, do its thing. And I had to call Ronika. And I'm like, this baby will move for her. My grandmother and my mom was by my side. And they thought I was crazy. And I'm like, no, listen, Caden will move for her. And I called Ronika and I said, Ronika, I'm giving birth. Like, I'm trying to
yes.
get this kid out. Please talk to me, say something. And I had the phone right near the belly and he started moving. He started kicking. The machines were going off. And she's like, come on, Caden.
Yes.
And
Did
nobody has
I?
ever seen anything like
Man.
it. You were the other baby mama.
I
So
was.
Caden's
I
other,
wasn't the baby daddy, but baby
yeah,
mama.
baby daddy, but baby mama.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Those were the times, man. And then,
Was pretty
like you
crazy.
said, it's just so amazing that we still kept in contact all these years, literally.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
thanks to social media because,
Yes.
people change numbers.
Yep.
Life goes on. They have
Mhm.
families and kids and
Yeah.
education and different careers. So
Yes.
honestly, there are so many people to keep in contact
Mhm.
through social media. I
Yeah.
see other people's kids,
Oh,
being raised and, it really is a beautiful thing because
it is.
we'd probably lose track. You always hear back in my day, our parents are just like, I haven't seen you in 30 years, and they didn't have social media. We get to see each other all the time, but through a
That's
screen, but
true.
still.
You know, and it's so crazy you say that because I was talking to a client and she asked, she's like, wait, isn't your like 15-year coming up with high school? And I'm like, wow, 15 years. But I was like, it's really not a big deal. We never had a teen year because that was 2021. It was COVID. And I was like, really, you don't need one anymore because social media. I know who's a nurse. I know who has a business. I know we literally follow each other. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's not a big deal. But like you said, like your mom back in the day, it's like you haven't seen your classmates in 15, 20 years. So you're
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, let me see what they've been doing,
Mhm.
but
And sometimes even your own friends, and it's so
yeah.
nice. Like I've been watching you and
Oh,
I've just been cheering you on, and I'm just like, I'm just so proud of you of everything you have done. And it's just so nice to be able to see that, you know?
you. I'm still trying, girl.
We all are. We all are.
Yes,
It's so hard, but I'm your
it is.
cheerleader from afar.
Yes, it is. So I really want to get into the first question. So what made you get into aesthetics? As we was talking about, you guys, we worked at an urgent care together. So she definitely has like years of experience in the medical field.
Okay, I've been ready for this question because I was
Yes.
watching some of your other talks, and honestly, I don't know if you remember, but remember I reached out to you and I asked you where you went to school. And I said,
Yes.
"What are you doing?" Because I joined in 2019, but it was a couple years prior to that, and it
Mhm.
was just it wasn't the right time in my life. And I was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" And I kept seeing all these posts, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is inspirational. She's
Oh.
doing something." I'm like, "This looks like fun." And
Yes.
I knew being a mom that I didn't medical doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility.
Hmm.
And I knew that's something I could always fall back on, but I wanted another journey. And I was watching and watching and watching, and I'm like, "What is she doing? This looks like fun." Something I could do to raise my kids. And I'm like, this girl's getting it. And it was you. And I
Uh,
signed up. I tried to sign up at Douglas J. It wasn't the right time. A couple of years later, 2019. And then honestly, my biggest cheerleaders and the rest of my inspiration was just my family and my friends who watched my children so I could go to school and was my biggest cheerleaders. But girl, you started the journey.
Oh
I
my
watched
goodness,
you.
Angel.
I've been watching
Don't
your
make me
journey.
cry. Don't make me cry because you know I'm sensitive. Don't make me cry.
I know.
Oh my goodness. I do remember that, but I was like, well, maybe it was like something else that kind of like sparked. Because I always just like to ask, shut up.
I never knew what an esthetician was. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot back then. You didn't hear
Exactly.
about,
No.
skincare and all these fancy
Huh?
machines and everything until, social media started going off. And I'm just like,
Yes.
this girl,
Like, what are you?
you're a hustler. You make it happen. You have so
You
much
see me.
motivation. And it looked fun. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can always have medical to fall
Yeah.
back on. I have two kids. Maybe this could
Mhm.
be a little flexibility where I can raise my kids and be a working
Yes.
mom. And I
It
mean, this is where I
worked
am. But
out.
so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm
And the
blushing.
foundation of my friends and my family who got me here. So
Oh my goodness, you got me blushing, Angel. You really do. But like even in the other like you said, the other talks, it's like people don't understand. Like back then, this was not estheticians was not a thing.
no. And
It
if
just wasn't
it was just like a couple
higher
women
end.
working in a
Mhm.
salon, doing a couple lip waxes, maybe a facial at like high-end
For
spas,
sure.
but it wasn't like what you see it is today.
Yeah, and I love it
In
though.
this, yeah, it is boomed. There's a word for it, estheticians,
Yes.
not just like a salon worker. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It is a cool industry to be in right now. It's
It
very
really
fun.
It really is. I feel like it did change a little. I'm not going to say that it's oversaturated because everyone's lane is what their lane is. But over the years, I have seen people just go into it just because they just thought it was just going to make some money or something. Like, I'm trying to
Mhm.
say. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. But then now you don't even see them post about it
No.
anymore.
And it really is a tough field. A lot of people
Yeah.
think that, hey, I can just go and get my
Mm-hmm.
certification and this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I have never worked so hard in my life. I work 24/7, and not just because
Yes.
I'm a spa owner,
Mm-hmm.
but before I was a spa owner, there is advertising, there's
Man.
marketing, there's, putting yourself forward, there's, knowledge. You have to continuously be on top of things, and not just like skincare, but the modalities that come with it, how to
Mhm.
do this and that. I mean, there's just so much to the skincare world that it opens up so many doors, and you got to be
Absolutely.
on top of it.
Yeah. No,
It's a
you
lot
really
of
do.
work.
You really do. And it's like we really left our 9 to 5s to really work 24 hours.
Yeah, I've never worked
Literally.
so hard in my life. When everybody is sleeping, I'm up at midnight, 1, 2 in the
That's
morning, and I'm making posts and
me.
reels. And what specials am I going to do this
Hmm.
month?
Yeah.
But I got a tip for you that I
Okay.
acclimated into my life for 2025 to make my life easier after learning everything from 2024. So, one little
So,
tip. I'm sure I have a few, but I have a
you
big
gonna
one.
tell me now or later?
Later. I think it's
Oh,
in like
okay,
one of your
okay. I'm
questions.
waiting. Okay, so Adriana said people don't realize how much goes into owning your own business. Man.
Hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
It when I tell you it's so hard, and then like you have life and relationships and friendships that you have to balance. And
Yes,
sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I just had a salary. I just go to work and clock out. But this is the most rewarding
it is.
job ever because when you have that goal and you set that goal and you accomplish that goal, girl, it's like no other feeling.
Yes.
We
It,
all
it
know as
truly is amazing.
entrepreneurs, as
It's like a
entrepreneurs.
high, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like you want more. And
Yes.
it's, you're making someone else feel better. And when they give you that feedback and they're like, I needed this, I had a death in my family, or I had a
Yeah.
breakup, or whatever, I had a hard day with my kids, and they get on your table and
Mm-hmm.
they feel like $1 million. Do you know
They
what you
do.
just accomplished just for one person?
Person, you changed
So
their life.
yes, and it's just not only that, and then you open up your own place.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you have, two clients this month and now you have six next
Yep.
month. It's even those tiny little things, they add up, and it's
Yes.
just part of a journey, and it's just so rewarding in many
Yeah.
ways in one.
And I also feel like sometimes we just don't give ourselves grace, because we're always like looking ahead and we're like, dang, but it's like, look at where you were last year. Like you said, this month, two clients. Like I remember when I made $70 in one day, I was like, hallelujah.
Yeah, I remember when I make
Remember,
nothing. Yeah.
like,
You know
just
what? I
go
made
give ourselves
nothing
grace.
today. I didn't have any clients today.
Oh, well,
My spa
true.
made money because I have
Yes.
employees. I didn't
Yes.
make a dime today, and the weather was crappy, which was fine. But you know what? I needed to give myself grace today. The
You
weather was
did.
crappy. I stayed
Hmm.
home today. I got stuff
Yes.
done. Yeah, and I mean, I didn't make a dime, but
But it's okay.
tomorrow I'm booked all day long, and I am Friday, so
So it's so crazy you said it because I want to dive into that. So before we dive into salon ownership, I wanted to talk to you as far as what is your favorite service? I'm sure it's skincare, right?
my favorite service that I have.
Yeah, that you provide. Yes.
Honestly, I do love my facials. I'm a waxer. I
Oh,
fell in love with it. I was
really?
scared. I was so scared when I was in Esthie school, and they started waxing, and I'm just like, this is going to be horrible. And the very first rule in going to Aveda, the very first cardinal rule sitting in schools, you're not allowed to tweeze, to
Yep.
wax, laser, nothing. You had to grow your hair out
Yes.
for a month, and then you were waxed from head to toe. And I'm just thinking like, this is going to be horrible,
It's
and I
bad.
absolutely love it. I
No,
love doing my
my
facials,
experience
but
is
I'm a
bad.
waxer.
Shut up. So that's your niche. I thought it was
No,
skincare.
skincare is, I love it. I actually formulate my own products too.
Okay.
Remember I used to do all the
Yes.
bath bombs and scrubs and stuff, which I
Yes.
still do. I don't do bath bombs anymore. And I love skincare, but girl, I'm a waxer. Yeah, I love it. My number one selling service are Brazilians.
Wow. So you're a quick waxer.
Yes. I went from 30 minutes, I can get it done to down to 15.
Okay, that's
If my
good. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 if we're talking. Normally, like I'm not one of those that are
Laughing.
just like, yes, I'm not one that's going to book somebody every 12 to 15 minutes and get them in and out like a revolving door. I have a
Yeah, like
relationship with my clients,
me too.
and I always tell new clients, you are not a piece of meat. You are not
Hmm.
somebody who's going to come into a revolving door. I can wax you fast, and if you're on lunch break, girl, I got you in and
Right.
out. But you're not going to lay on this table and have you get flipped over, and then you have you being rushed out the door. So I will like wax you fast, but I take my time. I build those
Me
relationships with my
too.
clients, and it goes a long way.
And also, it makes them feel comfortable. You're in an intimate area. The last thing I want is someone serious looking at me and just
Mhm.
waxing me. I'm like,
And getting you in and out the door without
yeah.
is like, are you comfortable? Are you
Just like,
okay?
yeah,
And
just
that's
like
the
those big chains. That's why people they go there because of the convenience, because they can just go there and say, "Hey, I want to get a wax."
mhm.
But it's also like who the heck is this?
Yeah,
Because like you said, we build those relationships and they're comfortable with us. So
yes.
I mean, we can talk about anything. We can talk about relationships while I'm pulling the strip.
Yeah, and that the biggest thing is, is that bond and that relationship. We're women. We are insecure about everything. Our looks, and not to mention when you're in that vulnerable area, we have stretch marks, we have hemorrhoids, They come in with scars. They come in,
Mhm.
by the time I'm looking
Negroes.
at them, I'm just like, they're like, oh, don't look at this and don't look at that. And I'm like, I don't even know that existed until you said something. And
Exactly.
especially being in the medical field and having that respect and,
Mhm.
being a woman, I tell all my clients, I don't care if you're new or established,
Mhm.
that the number one rule in my spa is respect. And if you are not comfortable on my
Yeah.
table, then I need you to tell me, because that is the number one thing. You're naked and
Yes.
you're vulnerable and you're not in a position, but by the time that they leave, they're expecting like a 15 out of a 10 for pain level. My new clients, I ask them every time, where's your pain? And they say
Yes.
maybe a 6,
Oh,
maybe.
that's great.
And they come in being vulnerable at like a
Mhm.
20 out of a 10, and they're like, no, I'm fine. I'll be back in a month. Like, or
Aw,
I'm coming in for a facial next week. And it's just of how you deliver
for
yourself,
sure.
how professional you are. We're going to respect you and
Mhm.
your body. It's a
Yeah.
very big thing, and that relationship is going to go a long way, rather than me making money every 15 minutes. That's not what I'm in the industry to
No,
do.
no, not at all. And trust me, our guests, they know that. They can tell. They can tell who's really passionate about what they do versus who just wants to put dollars.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say,
Yep.
building a relationship with your clients is everything. It really is.
Absolutely.
Norris is in here. Revive. That's Norris. What
Hey,
else did we
Norris, I
hear?
miss you. We were all all together too.
Yes, yes. But okay, so now I want to go into okay, so when did you know that it was time for you to open up your own salon? And I also so it's a two-part question. So we run our salons completely different, right? So the way you run your salon, terrified. I'm terrified. That's just like we're gonna talk
Terrifying.
about it. So when did you know it was time? Because it might be someone out here like, hey, I feel like I have that good clientele. Did you have that steady clientele before you went ahead and did it? And then also, what made you structure it the way to have employees versus the way that I do it to where I have suites?
Good
So it's like a
question.
three-part question. It's like a 3-4 part question.
No, it's okay. Well, I worked for a spa and I worked for a
Okay.
salon. And then I started taking clients out of my home because I was a stay-at-home mom. I was working throughout COVID. I went back to the urgent care because they needed some
Mhm.
help. Worked to the urgent care, took a break because working COVID was just it was just
Yeah.
crazy. And then, my ex-husband was just like, why don't we make you like a one of those nice outhouse like
Oh,
barns,
like a she
a
shed.
she shed, yes. And he's
Yeah.
like, why don't we do this? Because I wanted to start taking clients from my home. And he's like, why don't we make a she shed? Why don't you open up your own business? So I was just like thinking, how do I do this? And who knows better to open up a business than Dr. Sony? So I'm just like, okay, I went to Sony and I said, okay, how do I do this? Because I don't want to fail at this. I know I'm going to fail at some point. You learn from your
For
mistakes, not totally
sure.
fail.
Yeah.
And I said, what do I do? And he's like, you're not going to open it up. You're not opening up your own business right now. And I said, what do you mean? And he
Right.
goes, you need to do the work. This is what you do. Location, you look at your demographics. How many places are in your area? What are you going to price? Are you going to have employees? How are you going to pay yourself? Da, 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 da. It was 7 to 8 months of work that I actually did. And he's like, this is once you have this down, once you do all this work, come back and talk to me. So I said, okay. So I drew up 5, 6, 7 pages, what my color theme was going to be, what services I was going to
Wow.
have, what skincare I was going to have. Literally every single thing that you have in your place right now
Mhm.
is what is in my place. I had a plan for, and that's what he told me to do. So it was all worked up, and I had 5, 6, 7 pages, right? So then I met back up with him and I said, okay, I think I'm ready to open up my own place. I did exactly what you told me to. I looked for buildings, and you know what he did? He didn't even look at my pages. And I was like, what are you doing? I
Right.
did all this
You're like, I
work.
spent all my hard-earned time
He, he's like,
on
that
this.
wasn't for me. That was for you. He goes, now I'm going to tell you how to open a business. And I'm like,
Wow.
you're not going to look at my papers? Like, I worked so hard.
He said, no.
No,
And
because that was
We
for
know Dr.
me.
Sony.
He
Good
doesn't
for
need to
you.
know that. He doesn't care about my color theme. He wants
Right.
to know to make sure I did all the work. So, then I opened it up. So, and a lot of people were shocked because we had signed a lease in April,
Your
March. you know,
Actually, it was yesterday,
yes,
right?
March
Yes.
30th. And I opened up May 1st, and people were like, holy crap, that was fast. How do you open in 1 month?
Yes.
And it's because all my homework and all my hard work was almost a year prior. So by the time, the only thing I had to do was just buy a bunch of crap and put it in my building. And now I was ready to start because I did all of the work prior as I was taking clients from my home and being a mother. So when I was downtime, I just kept working, working, working. So I was working for
Mhm.
free, for a
Yeah.
year, and I was juggling my kids and a new home. And that's how I opened up. So it's a lot of hard work, and you need to give yourself that good foundation before
Mhm.
you even think about opening the doors.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, as far as your structure, so you knew off the bat you wanted a spot where you call, hey, I have the X amount of employees and you want to schedule with such and such. So, you already knew going into it you wanted to go that route. Have you ever thought about, like, hey, maybe I should try to do both? Maybe I should try to get that guaranteed weekly money? Or was that just never, a thought?
So actually, so my spa has 3 rooms, and actually one of them is like a suite. So my massage therapist, she rents out from me.
Oh, okay.
Um, so that really helps, with the rent because she rents out that room.
Okay.
And then I have 2 other employees that work underneath me. So they're 1099 right now. And I am able, so what my foundation of my spa is that I love to boost other women. I like to teach. I like to make sure that they're set.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to this podcast. I forgot the name of this woman, but she was really empowering. And when you talk to other people and you go and you listen and interview, all these women are like, "You're number one. You're the salon owner. You're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to make
Mm-hmm.
so much money." No, just because
No,
you own the place does not mean that your business is going to do good. The
absolutely.
way what I got out of it is that I am building my employees because and they were building themselves, but we were working together to build the spa. Because if it's
Absolutely.
only me, 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 how am I going to
Um,
further my business? I'm only going to further myself as an esthetician.
yes.
My employees, I can
Sorry.
build with them, but they need to build themselves as a solo esthetician
Mm-hmm.
because then they'll have that bond with clients. They
Mm-hmm.
build themselves, which will also build the spa, and that's how we work well rounded. And
Okay.
that's what I tell my girls. I go, anytime you want to have education, I go, let me know. Anytime that you need to leave because I'm not teaching you enough, or maybe you found an experience somewhere else, let me know. I would never be upset because, you may be able to go this part with a niche or this part with education,
Mhm.
and I want you to further yourself. So not only am I building myself and my brand, but I'm also building my girls, and they are building themselves
That's
too.
amazing. So, like, how did you find them? I met them for
Yeah,
the dermaplaning.
the dirt,
That's
and I'm
the
sending you
same.
one more. I'm sending.
Oh,
She on
next
April
week,
7th.
right?
Yep,
Well,
I'm
I
gonna have 3
tried.
now.
I tried texting her. She didn't respond. I just want to make sure she had her model.
I think she's grabbing a friend. She's
Oh,
gonna have it.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I just want to make sure. But I was like, oh, she didn't respond yet. And I was like, I wonder if Angel sent her because you always send the girls.
yeah. So she worked all day with me yesterday. So sorry.
Okay. Maybe that's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. She worked
Maybe
all
that's
day
why.
with me yesterday. She
So
took
as
models
far as
all day, and they all rebooked. So,
yeah, that's
hmm
so good.
yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh my goodness.
I know
I
I
don't
get off
know.
track. I get
No,
sidetracked
me
too.
too. Oh no, okay. So how did you find them? I don't think I ever asked. Like as far as like, was it just referrals or someone you knew?
Yep.
And
So
and how does that trust come? Because it's always that it can always be that uncertainty where you're like, okay, you have this, and then what if they're like, okay, I found somewhere else. It's like, what do I do? I feel like that's my fear. That was always my fear. To Lulu, sorry, to have employees because I don't want to get comfortable, and I feel like I went so long, 8 years with just me, to where now my clients are like, no, I'm not going to no one else. So now it kind of puts me in a box to where like, will I ever have like employees? Because
yeah,
my clients don't trust no one. I don't know if I
right.
waited too late. If I would say,
You
Lulu,
know,
stop.
I'll tell you how you can curve that box. I have a lot of trust issues. So, I've had things go happen in my life in the last couple years. So
Yes.
it has changed my outlook. But prior to those events that you know of,
Yes.
so Taylor, my massage therapist, came through Michaela, and we went to school together. So she already knew somebody. And then so did Frankie, my employee. So they already had, my friend Michaela, we had a falling out. She already knew these two people. So I knew that coming through her, that I know that they could be trustworthy. So at the time, I was kind of shaken and I'm like, I don't know if I could, let somebody in my place and give them keys or, theft or anything like that. But I also have a very strong intuition about people. And I until you break that trust, I feel like I can trust you. And I just took baby steps with it. So I did have a really good feeling between the other two girls. And I knew that, they came with a referral, and Frankie went to Aveda too.
Yes.
So which was
So
great.
sweet.
Yes.
So
So
sweet.
then Jelly, get this, her name is Angelica, which
Yeah.
is a name that is never, you never
Yeah.
find. So this girl called me and texted me for like a couple weeks. Hi, are you hiring? Can I have a job? Like, I'm an esthetician. I want to come work for you. Da-da. She wouldn't stop, girl. So then I'm just like, okay, like I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Because we were leading up to our grand opening. And on the grand opening, I answered the phone. It was her. And she goes, hi, were you gonna, call me back at some point? Like I talked to you a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, girl, it's my grand opening.
Like I
She
can't.
would not stop. And I'm like, you know what? This girl is working hard. She's putting herself out there. This is somebody who's
Yes.
motivated to work. So then after grand opening, I interviewed her and I was just like, I love her
Oh.
too. And I wasn't sure to do this. And I'm like, I didn't want employees right away. But if I had employees, again, I can build two other girls as I'm building myself. And at the time when you first open, going back to your first question, I had a somewhat of a solid clientele because I was taking clients out of my home. It was a small clientele, but I still had some to keep the place afloat when I first
Sure.
opened. So bringing the other two girls in, I was able to expose them to my clients. So to kind of help get you out of the box is I'm sorry, we'll go back to the trust part. But it was really hard in the beginning and it's even extremely hard now that I have a few other trust issues. But I I hate putting a ton of trust into people because they can break your heart and they can ruin you. But until you give me a reason, and I take baby steps, I don't just hand you over the keys to my
Yeah.
kingdom. You're going to get the keys when I feel comfortable. I'm going to watch. I'm going to listen. I'm going to look at every single thing that you do. Now, if I feel like, my vibes are off, if you're just not doing this and you're not doing that and you're not eager to work, then I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to see how they react. Are they just going to throw a tantrum and be like, okay, well, you cut my hours down or you did this. If they understand and be like, I totally understand. I haven't been up to par,
Yeah.
and they are, mature about it, that helps even more because I can see that you're responding in a mature way, which I've never had to cut anybody,
Yeah.
down. But this is what I do is I observe a lot and I teach a lot. And if you're just sitting back, just doing a facial and there's no questions because I don't know
Right.
everything, you don't know everything. It's a constant learning. And they're not asking questions or they're not, furthering their education, then I know their heart isn't into it. So it's kind of like there's a lot to go into
Okay.
it, trust wise.
Yes.
Um, it's a lot, but
Feel like
I've
you said
learned
I.
to, it's really hard for me right now because I have a third employee. So
Okay.
I'm working through it. So to get you out of that small box is that I did tell my clients and I said, the only people that like to wax are me and Jelly. So Frankie is not a waxer, but she does facials and everything else. And I told them, I said, listen, if I'm never around and I know you're in a vulnerable position with a Brazilian or whatever, I train Jelly. Like Jelly is me. So they were
Gotcha.
like, oh my gosh, it's pretty much the same technique. She may do a couple things different, but I put that trust into my clients. Listen, if I can't do your facial or I'm sick, that was another reason I'm having employees. I cannot tend to, I have kids, I have soccer, I get sick, I'm a human being.
Yes.
So having an employee and kind of having that backup, and I tell them, Jelly's hands, Frankie's hands are amazing. I train Jelly and she will respect your body. You're going to be in a vulnerable position. You will absolutely love her. You like,
Right.
I talk them
Yes.
up and I build them up because I want
Yeah.
to build that trust and that bond with them
For
and
sure.
that bond that I have with them. So, I would advise your clients, do baby steps, do a
Start it
bikini, maybe a
out.
lip wax, start with an
Right.
easy facial,
But you know, with me,
get to
it's
know them.
lashes. So that's the thing. My niche is lashes. Like
Hmm.
that's 80%. So 80% is lashes, 10 is waxing, 10 is facials.
Oh, wow.
So when it comes to eyes and people
Yeah.
lashes, they're like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's my
but my
eyes.
waxing clients, I feel like you said, if I tell them like, hey, I trained them, oh, okay. But when it comes to lashes, they're like very specific because I
Yeah.
know what they like. I've been servicing them for so long. It's like they don't even have to say anything. This is what they like, blah
And
blah.
you
But I
know
guess
that.
it starts
Yeah.
with,
But that's the
I guess
same
it
thing you
starts
have to
with,
tell your
right?
clients. It's just
Yeah,
like waxing.
yeah,
This client, Abby is coming in, so let you tell your employee, like, hi, Abby is coming in. This is what she likes.
yeah,
And then but allow for your employee to be like, hi, Abby, what are you looking for today? I know you've seen with Ronika, but I want you to let me know what you like and what you don't like. Because especially I tell my clients, I go, listen, I always want you to tell me what I like, but more further, I want you to tell me what you don't like so I can fix it. So while they're on the table, if they don't like their lashes and they want a more volumed, out,
mm-hmm.
or cat eye, whatever
Yeah,
it is, the communication goes a long way. Is that you
for sure.
do have to talk up your employees.
Yeah,
And if you're going to be with your employees and you're going to put time and education and money into your employees,
mm-hmm.
why can't your clients see them? And they don't
I get
have
what you're
to all
saying.
the time. As a
Right,
backup, you're sick, you're
right,
out doing whatever, and it
girl.
builds more of a bond, and they're comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
two people, and they're like, you know what, my cousin or my neighbor down
Yep.
the street, I know both these girls, they're great. Bada boom, bada boom. It's
Yeah,
more recommendations and more word of
yeah.
mouth because they not only respect you, but you're only going to hire somebody who's going to work just as
Mm-hmm.
hard as you. So if you're going to put that time and that energy into somebody, your clients are going to see that. So take that
That's
leap
true.
of faith.
Thank you. Because
Okay.
it's hard.
Very hard.
Because like I'm barely girl. I just work so much. I finally have like a set schedule, and then sometimes I'm like, man, like I wish I just had somebody that could just come in if I'm exhausted. I don't
You
know if you
can.
know I'm back in school. I'm obtaining my master's now. And girl, yeah, so I'm just balancing everything and I'm like, man, I wish that I just had somebody that could just take my clients tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that really helped me. That really helped me as far as, choosing someone to help me. Cause I feel like at this point I need
Yeah.
help. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm
You
gonna admit
can't
it.
do it
I
all.
can't do
I
it
learned that my
all.
first
Yeah.
year. You cannot do it all. And I'm like, I can go
Doing
to
it.
soccer. I can
Yep.
feed my kids. I can run a spa. Oh, no, you
I
can't.
be
Something
doing
has
it.
got to
Just imagine
give.
my mind. Just imagine, like, being a wife, being a friend, being in school. Like I've been doing it for so long, and then now, like you said, when it comes to trust, everything is just like I do it a certain way. I do it like this, but now I feel like I've entered a time where I need help. I
Hmm.
just do now. But it's like when the time presents itself. I'm not saying tomorrow, but I would definitely take your tips.
Hmm.
As far as trusting someone and bringing someone in and just really training them and just finding somebody that's ready.
Who's going to be just like you?
Yeah,
And that's the biggest thing. They don't have to do exactly
right, for
everything like you. And
sure.
that's another thing that was hard for. And I'm like, no, you're not doing it that way. Not that I would say that, but I'm thinking it in my
Right.
head. I'm like,
Like I would have
like,
pulled it that way, and I would have tweezed that one hair, but okay,
yeah. So you have to let that go when you're training that person, and they're going to teach you. They're going to be like, "Oh, wow, why didn't I think about that?" So
Mhm.
building that bond, building that trust with another human being, and being able to share a little piece of your
Yes.
paradise. Not saying hand over the keys to the kingdom, but invite
But
them
let
to
it
your kingdom.
let it go
Yes,
a little bit,
just a little bit.
just a little bit.
Because I love my girls.
Yes.
We go out to monthly meetings. We
Mm-hmm.
go to Rose Brunch House. We did the rodeo at the Armada Fair. We did
Oh,
did a what's that place, escape room. So we
yes,
bond outside of work, and it
yes.
just
That's
I can see
important.
them as a person.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
very important. It's so crazy you say that because I have new girls at the shop. So we actually have our very first meeting on Sunday, and I always like to do this. Anytime I have new girls, I like everyone to feel comfortable. I treat the girls. We go out to
I'll
dinner.
be there
We have our
Sunday.
yeah, yeah, right. So we're actually going on Sunday just so everyone can feel comfortable because especially those who's new to the environment and just or the salon setting, just because it's also a stereotype of like the salon and the spas being messy or these girls not
Hmm.
liking the other girls. I have never, with me owning that shop for 4 years, ever had that problem. Ever.
Hmm.
Because I try to make sure I'm like, hey, and I also encourage the other girls, but I remember how it felt entering a salon where I only knew the owner.
Yeah.
And then, you just start talking a little, you think, things like that. So I'm like, hey, let me start doing these, meetings, get to know each other. Y'all two
Mhm.
collab. It don't always have to be me, but I'm always the common denominator.
Yes.
So of
It's
course when it comes to,
overwhelming.
yeah,
They
it
don't
is.
know each other. They don't know they can
No.
trust each other. And when
Right.
I'm not there, my girls are totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
They help each other, they flip rooms, they talk, they laugh. I mean, it builds it, you
Yes.
build a good team.
Yes. And people need to know a great salon culture, people don't understand, has to be great. You set
Yes.
that foundation, and then everyone, especially when you have like-minded women in the spa, everything just flows.
Yeah.
I leave, go on vacation, I never have to worry about anything because they treat the space like their own, and that's why I really
Yes.
love them. I really do. I really love
Yeah.
my friends.
I
At
cannot
this point,
tell
I'm like,
you,
like
I
you're more than
love my
just,
girls.
a coworker. You're more than a coworker.
Yes.
At
Oh,
this point.
100%. I
Oh,
love my girls. I go away all the time and I'm with my kids all the time. And I
yes.
know that when I'm not there, even if they have to call me, to like, hey, what about this or what about that? They rely on each other. And I know that at the end of the day, they're there. I can depend on them. I can give them
Mm-hmm.
keys to the door and know
Yeah,
everything is okay. And again, like establishing that trust is really hard, but you need to get to know somebody on that personal level and
for
give them
sure.
an inch of room to prove them to yourself. And you need to get the work together as that team. You need to have that foundation.
Thank you. I
Welcome.
appreciate it. But I wanted to go back to what Adriana said up here. She said, because Adriana, she have like 10 plus years of doing nails. That's my nail tech. My nails are so cute, y'all. They're cow print. But anywho,
That's so cute.
she said that's a big thing, having your employees feel comfortable, because it's, yes, it's your salon, but to have it bloom and prosper, you need them too. That's why I had to leave my old salon. And, Adriana tells me all the time, like, girl, like I stayed there because number one, the apprenticeship, it's always an incentive when you're doing something in general. But when someone doesn't feel comfortable, it's kind of like, so, I
Mhm.
always make sure everybody's comfortable. Hey, you all right? Because at the end of the day, I've never went into it. I'm sure you haven't either. My. Oh, this is my shop. I never went like, oh, it's my shop. No,
I've
it's
never
all of
said
our shop.
that. No, it's all
Never.
of ours. You
It's
work
all of
here. You
ours.
represent my spa.
Mm-hmm.
This is your space.
Yep.
And I give the girls that range of the room. Like all the rooms are like my rooms are pretty much they look the same.
Okay.
But they get creative when they want. They bring in like these sound machines. We have these cute lights in there. And I'm not going to say no. Like, even though
Right.
it goes with our flow, they get creative. It's
Mm-hmm.
their space to be creative with their clients. And I want that for
Yeah.
them, and they're able to express their personality, their creativity. And the girls that I have, like you and I have worked in an urgent care, so we know how
Yes.
working with other girls can be, or you're working
Yes.
retail. And the girls that I have, I'm in love with them. I
Oh,
literally love them. They're like sisters. I just have that bond with them. I know I can trust them. We come in crying, we come in venting, we
yep.
come in scared, we come in happy. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell my girls all the time, or my new girls, and I say, I don't care if you're having a bad day, your boyfriend, your baby
Okay,
mama,
right.
whatever it is, you come in and you can lay down and scream and vent. But when that client comes in,
You better snap
we
it,
we gotta work. But
snap out of
in
it.
between the clients, if you're rolling toes and I have a bad day, girl, get it out. Like this is what we're
Go to
here
the back.
for.
Go to the
Yeah,
break room and then
it
come
is
back to 5 minutes.
okay. We're
Yes.
human, we're
Human.
women, and we come in. I've came in tears. I
Yep.
came in happy, and I want them to do. This is a safe place. You don't
Yes.
have to just hurry up and bounce into
Mm-hmm.
like this robot where you can't show
Yeah.
emotion. Yeah,
But we're human. I just try not to show it with my clients, because who are they? But I'm definitely going to go in that next room and be like, hey, girl, listen, let me tell you, blah, blah, blah. Then I snap out of it like, hey, girl, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Go in the room. I'll see you. It's just like a whole little thing. But I also feel like our guests sometimes don't realize that we're human. Don't
no,
they think you're robots? Hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have it? Oh my God, you can't do this. Oh my God, you can't squeeze me in. Once again, I don't have employees, but I will in the future.
yeah,
And I'm thinking like they don't see it the way I see it. I'm only one person.
yeah,
I'll pay you this. I'll pay you extra. It's
don't
not about the
matter.
money. I didn't come into this for the money. The money comes with it. The money is great.
Yeah,
I have to pay my bills, but I'm only one person. Give me grace. I'll say,
yeah.
hey, I have other girls. No, I'm okay. I'll just wait for you.
Well, you're gonna wait because that was the biggest thing I had to learn. when my first
Yeah.
open up my business, I was on my phone 24/7. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, no, I have to answer the phone on Saturday and on Sunday and past
No,
business
you
hours
don't.
because I don't want to let that person go."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, "Okay, fine." I stopped answering it on Sundays, or and I'm just like at birthday parties and I'm in Chicago and I'm just like and I'm at a soccer meet and and I'm like, I can't do that. And I learned the hard way. And I'm like, you know what? The same people that call, they're going to call back tomorrow. If they want to come to you, they will. It can wait a minute. And I had to learn respect for myself. That was the biggest thing because you can't
Mm-hmm.
keep catering to everybody because you're going to get
Yeah.
burnt out. Respect for yourself is, I feel like, is always in last place. And until you learn that, then you'll be able to let go, or you'll be able to be like, you know what, I'm not going to answer my phone today. I'm not going to answer, I'm not going to book this client. They can wait for tomorrow. They can wait next week.
Mm-hmm.
That was the hardest lesson I
Yeah,
had
I
to
don't.
learn.
Yeah, I mean, especially because when you're in that building phase, I feel like a little part of us, that building phase never leaves.
It
But when you
doesn't.
first start, it's like I want every single client, I want every single guest. But
Yes.
if they're meant for you, like you said, they're going to come back. Now I have a set schedule, Tuesday through Sunday. I take my Saturdays off, not Sunday, Saturday. I take my days off, and then Sundays I'll respond to you on Monday. Even though I don't work on Monday, I'm like, okay, it's still a working day.
Right. Still a
Like, give
working
me
day. You're still
grace.
getting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, give me grace. But next question. So I want to talk about social media. We kind of briefly spoke about it in the beginning. Do you think it's crucial right now as far as like the trends and what our future looks like as beauty professionals?
You know what? I used to think that. I'm kind of 50-50 on that because a lot of my clients are word of mouth and who have never seen me on
Mm-hmm.
social media or don't go on social media. So like I'm in my 30s, I'm almost 40. And a lot of times I spent a ton of time on social media when I was in my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
but now I rarely use it. And
Yeah.
it's like I'm a mom, I got this, I have that
Mm-hmm.
going on. And I'm only on there to be like, "Oh, okay, what is my aunt doing that I never see? Or what is my
Right.
family doing?" I'm not on there all
So
the
you don't
time. So if
really
I'm not on
rely
there,
on it
I'm
for
not
clientele.
seeing. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Makes
so
sense.
I feel like 50% of it is crucial because it's our next generation that's coming into play and that's all they know is social media and that's all they want to see is reels. So it's
Mm-hmm.
crucial for this next generation, but the other 50% I would say no
No.
because almost 90% of my clients are going to come our word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, a lot of people do see my ads on like a Facebook group, like our Meta
Mhm.
group or a Richmond group.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's 90% of it's word of mouth. But you have to put yourself out there. So I think social media is really only 50% right now.
Yeah. That's so this is a question I asked all of my guests on Esthie Talk, and everyone has literally said the same thing. My last guest, she's like my mentor. I don't know if you watched that one, but she literally said the same thing as far as you have to just go back to that marketing. All of my clients is word of mouth. You send
Mhm.
me all of my dermaplane course, classes. You send me every single girl, and it is like what Adriana said. Yes, all my clients are from word of mouth. I probably have only had a handful of social media. That
Yeah,
is so true.
yeah.
It's so
I'm
true.
busting out posts and reels
It
like
don't
crazy.
matter.
I sees it. Don't I sees it?
Yeah. They don't,
Yeah.
like you said, they don't see it. And what I mentioned the last episode is I really want to go back to the old school marketing. I had to really tell myself, like, I got into like the whole social media thing a couple years ago where I'm like, I don't need to carry my business cards for what? Everyone has Instagram,
Yeah.
everyone has Facebook, but as of recently, I don't. I lost a client.
Yeah. And
You
people
know,
take breaks from social media
they
because they're
do.
on it. It
They
boomed the
just
last
chill
10
out.
years. And they're
Yes.
like, why am I on Snapchat all day? Why am I on Facebook
I'm
all
never
day?
on Snapchat.
Yeah.
That's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got rid of my Snapchat. I don't need to post my life every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But it is good to
For
have because
sure.
if you just upload a couple things, you never know if it's going to catch, a client's eye. Frankie, she made one post on Snapchat. She had 3 clients on Friday from it.
Oh
So you never
wow.
know. It is a good
Yeah.
crucial, but again, she's like 20, 22.
Yeah. She's a
So,
baby.
so yeah, so she's a baby. All the babies have, all these apps, so they're going to see
Yeah.
it. So again, it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
What I did for advertising, I went back to old
Mm-hmm.
school. I made racket cards and I made these 4x6 flyers that showed a couple pictures of my work, where I'm at, and what I'm offering. Nothing crazy because people don't like to read a whole bunch of
At
stuff.
all. Don't put
But
no paragraph.
a business card people take and they're like, oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
But if you show a picture, it captures people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, that's cool. That's pampering. Or, oh, they do waxing. And you put a couple little lines for them to engage. And I went around my town and I handed them out
That's
all
smart.
around town. I'm collaborating with Extreme Fitness here in Richmond. There's a bodybuilder that was
Oh,
just like, not only skincare, but a lot of our gut health plays in our skincare.
for
And a lot of
sure.
my clients that get on the table, they're like, I have cellulite, I have stretch marks, I want to be healthier. How do I do this? Well, hey, the guy at Extreme Fitness that I'm collaborating with, and then he sends me clients. So you have to go back
Mm-hmm.
to collaborating, the old
Yes.
school,
Mm-hmm.
go out. People need to know that you're here. Just because you post on social media does
Yeah.
not mean that everybody knows you're
Exactly.
available. I walk around town, I hand them out. When I go to restaurants, I put them down. And I went past the business card because people take them all the time and just shoot them. But if you
Yeah.
have a picture, it catches their eye.
Mm. That's good to know.
Hmm.
That's good to know.
That was one of my biggest
Yes.
things was just making a 4x6,
Yes. You like, here
flyer.
you go. They're like, oh, okay, what's this? But
Hmm.
I literally, so that's actually one thing that I'm going to mention because I already have up my little template for our meeting on Sunday. As far as like in Livonia, I'm doing it old school. I want to help my girls out, my new girls. Some of the girls that I have in there, it's like they're still building that clientele because once again, I am like salon suite based. I don't have any employees, and I want to help them out. I want to see them grow as well. I'm like, hey, I'm going because it's like literally all those divisions and everything. They don't know that I'm there, that we're there. So I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm gonna get those flyers. We're gonna go put them on the doors. Go to businesses. Hey, we're right here. Oh, really? Because they don't know. Like you said,
Yep.
everyone is not on social media. And I always say, don't just give social media your all. It is great for brand deals.
Hmm.
That's another thing. Collaborating once again, and just getting that following, that's also a good thing, but as far as those clientele, it's all word of mouth. Like, oh, I sent my sister, my cousin, my best friend. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep. You
And
need
personality
to
really
walk
matters.
around. You need to expose yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, I wear these to
I
my
can't see.
kids' soccer meet. So,
Oh, wait, your hair is in the way.
oh, okay, I'll move it. But I
Oh,
have t-shirts
oh, your
and
t-shirt.
it
Okay.
shows like where I'm at and my back and
Oh,
it so it's just like I
yes.
don't care if I'm at the movies. Sometimes I'll wear it or I'm at the kids' school, like soccer. I'm not going to change. This is who I'm advertising.
Yeah.
So I mean, I go to the soccer meet and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, like what do you do? I'm meeting a new mom or I'm on a spa. I'm right here. Like do
Yes.
you need a massage?" So it's like you're always having to present yourself and you got to go back to those old school ways cuz
Yes.
social media is
I'm a
great
real
for those
boomer.
youngins,
Yes.
and that's great because
I'm
we need
over
to reel
30.
them in too. But half of that, you know, is
I'm
still
over
the other
30.
half of your clientele. They're 30 and up, and we don't spend all day on social
No,
media.
because I know I'm taking a break right now. I mean, I can't take a break completely because I do
Right.
have a following because I am doing SD talk now, and I want people, to engage. But overall, it's like at the end of the day, you have to speak up.
Yeah.
I always wear my shade, sweaters, anything. Oh, where you get this? Oh, always because you never know who's looking. But my niece said, Tierra, I know personally I'll go word of mouth over social media because I trust the person who's recommending more
I've
than a person
heard that
online
a lot.
with a bunch of followers. Yes, and that I hate when people say, oh, I went to her because she had 100,000 followers, but then now you're making a bad review and now you're bashing her on TikTok. That doesn't matter.
No,
Stop looking at followers. I hate when people do that.
I know an esthetician who has just over 1,000 followers, and she doesn't do anything. Like she doesn't do, it's none of them follow her. Like none of them go and get services from her, never brought any money to the
Mhm.
spa, nothing. So it's just like even though you have a followers, anybody can like a post or follow somebody.
Yeah.
That does not mean that there's going to be quality there
Mhm.
or a good place to go. So it's
Yeah.
like your friend said, you have to that recommendation, that person knows you. And that's really, where it's at.
Yes. So now I need to make me a little 4x4. Well, I want to make it for the shop in general to, bring on new people to the shop. I'm definitely going to do that. So Adriana said, I have seen the new trend for business cards is showing your social media. Yes, I have seen that as well, which shows off your work. I definitely feel like seeing someone's work before hand helps with booking. It does.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
social media is great. It's a
It's a great
poster
tool.
because on
Yes.
Instagram you can
Mm-hmm.
show before and afters. You can see, what they're doing, what their spa looks like. Oh, hey, that's
Yes.
really cute. I would like to go there.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a poster of your
Yeah.
life. But you got to put yourself
Mm.
out there, and it's
Yeah.
always going to be like that. Advertising and marketing. You can't. What if technology goes away tomorrow? What are you going to do? How are you going to run a
Nothing.
business off social media?
You
You can't.
can't. You can't. And that's the trend now.
Yeah, and
That's the
it's
trend.
okay for the new
But
generation coming in
yeah,
because
but
the
it's
videos
not for
we
me.
do, they'll see it,
Yes.
and we're going to get a little bit older, and the new generation after that's going to come in, and we'll learn how to format our advertising
Yeah.
for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And we'll learn that. But right now, it's fifty
It
fifty. Not everyone's
is.
on social media. So you have to learn how to advertise yourself and put
Yeah.
yourself out there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, let me see. Adriana, she does a good job with it. She's been in the industry for so long too. So she knows. So it's just like word of mouth, like you said. But what else I wanted to ask? Oh my goodness, I'm having a brain fart. It was in regards to the marketing. Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart.
That's okay.
Anywho, let's go to the next question. Okay, so what is some advice for aspiring beauty professionals or entrepreneurs in general,
Ooh,
as far as entering this industry? Um, like, what advice would you give someone? I would say in general.
okay.
Yeah.
Do your research. Dr. Sony. No, you're not opening a business tomorrow. You need to do your research. Do your research.
Sorry,
What
excuse
what
me.
do, what do you want? It's pretty much about you because if
Mhm,
you don't have your whole heart and soul into this, you can't. I don't want to say you're not going to be
mhm,
successful, but you need to be one passionate about it. You need to know what you want to do, what you're going to give, and what you're going to give up. Because I give up so much time. I am constantly doing this. I'm constantly marketing myself. What are you going to give up to get to what to your want? To get to
mhm,
what you want, and what are you going to give? So it's do your research. Think about what you solely want as a person. What are you passionate about? Make sure you plan very, very well. Well, I have another tip for later. Um, Another one would be take your time. Quality over time. I don't care if you're, a
yes.
waxer and you're doing a 30-minute Brazilian. These people are paying for quality, not for the minutes on your table.
Mhm,
If you start a new service, make sure you know all the ins and outs. We don't know everything. We're going to continue. This is a service. This is an industry we're constantly going to have to learn. Go out and do research. Go look at other YouTubers and other
mhm.
estheticians. And I don't mean YouTubers who are sitting in their home and they have no
Right.
education. I watched throughout COVID Dr. Yoon in Troy,
Mhm,
and I'm just like listening to not only his about health and plastic surgery and holistic. He takes holistic measures. Take a couple of classes in your downtime.
mhm,
You need to further research yourself. I mean, further research the things that you are going to do. And the number one thing is your quality. I don't
mhm.
care if it takes longer to do something, because the more you do it, the better you're going to have a better outcome.
Yeah.
That's the word. The more that you do it, the
Yes.
better you'll get at it. And then,
Yes.
it brings a lot of that success to your plate. You have to have a lot of
Yeah.
education, and you have to constantly, and you'll learn too. You may listen to a podcast or follow an esthetician and be
Mhm.
like, oh my God, well, I love that holistic measure of lymphatic drainage. What is that? And that might even spark yourself. So if you're constantly learning about new procedures and modalities, it'll also make you well-rounded and you'll kind of niche somewhere. I've niched in a couple spots.
Yeah. I also want to add to that too, and make sure you're doing this because you really want to do it, and not because of the things that you see.
Yes.
And then
That goes
like
back to it's
yeah,
not that you're not going to be
yeah.
successful, is that you need to want to do this and you have to do it with your heart and your soul, because then it's just going to be work, and like
Mm-hmm.
literally it's going to it's going to be daunting because you're going to be working and working so hard at this, and at the end of the day you're going to be like, why am I doing
Yeah.
this?
I've seen
So
literally people start up businesses during COVID because of the extra money and doesn't exist. I'm like, oh, okay. Money just in their pockets. They're like, oh, let me just do this. Let me take a lash. Do you know how many people that has taken my lash class and has done nothing with it? Nothing. Nothing. You.
Okay, I have a reason though.
That was
I have a
so
reason.
long. Look, that was so long
It
ago.
was.
You tried it.
I tried it for 6 months. I know probably should have tried it longer, but I was taking models all the time. I have ADHD. It would not allow me to do it. It was very tedious. I honestly was not getting good at it. I probably should have taken a refresher class, but to do it, girl,
My
oh my
friend,
God,
she
I
did
love you
it.
guys. When you do a first set, I was doing it, 2.5 hours, and it was 2 hours and 15, and then I got it down to 2 hours. Girl, they did not look good. They did not look good. I tried. My concentration hated me. My clients are just like, ugh. Like I hated me. I didn't like my work, and I honestly like and it's okay. Like I tried it, and I didn't like it. I don't like how tedious it
You
is.
said it was
I don't like
ugly.
doing it. And my work was ugly. My whole heart and soul wasn't into it. So I didn't like continue
Yeah.
doing it, but I continue to do waxing, and girl,
I
I
mean, if
love
you
it.
were in the industry already, I'm talking about those who just randomly want. Well, now you have to be licensed to do lashes, or at least in
Mhm.
school for lash. I mean, in school to become an esthetician or cosmetologist. But before, people was like, "Oh, I want to just try it out as a hobby." I'm like, she's wasting her money. But come on, you know. But wait,
Mhm.
Adriana, I have a really good question. Can you see the questions?
I can.
Okay.
Now, how do you feel like there's a big difference between renting a room and running your own business, or renting a building and running your own business? That's a good one because I do rent.
Yes.
Do you rent, Ronika?
Well, she works in the shop with me, so she's asking you.
So I rent a business right now. I was looking to buy a business, I mean to buy a building. But just starting out, it is very scary. You're signing a lease. So if I were to buy a building, that's hundreds of
Ooh.
thousands of dollars. Like they
That's
start
a
at two,
lot.
it's a mortgage and you're
Yes.
responsible for everything.
Mhm.
And being my first year, you don't know if you're going to flop or if you're going to make money. So, and it's, yeah, of course, it's not all about making money, but, or even cutting even, is that what if I don't get this going? What if my heart is not into it?
Yeah.
So I started renting, I started renting a building that has 3 rooms, reception room, all that jazz. And I feel comfortable because let me tell you, I opened up May 1st. My building flooded in July. I had
I
to push my
remember
grand opening.
that. I
I
remember
my
that.
whole life went up into smokes that year. So May 1st, I opened. In July, I flooded. I finally got my grand opening in September. I had a couple other things happen personally in my life. And if I would have owned that building, I don't honestly don't know what I would have done. And after 1 year, my lease can end and I can walk away, or maybe that building wasn't for me, or maybe I need to go in a different city, or maybe I'm in a whole new career. You never
Mhm.
know. So yeah, that's why like I'm personally renting. I do want to, now that I'm more established and I know this is all my heart and my soul and this is what I want to do. I have a 2-year plan to get a building.
Okay.
Like to own a
Listen.
building, not just to
Yes.
rent.
But no, that's literally my final question. That's so crazy. That's my final question. Like in the future, what does your future looks like? Look,
My
I said
future,
looks.
I have a 2-year plan, and this is when earlier when I said I want to go back to this
Yes.
tip to help you out. For new or established. So last year, again, like Renika, you know what happened to
Yes.
me. But last year I feel like I wasn't ahead of things. It was like every month, oh, what's my next special going to be? Well, what do I have to do next? And what do I have to purchase next? Or what's my next social media? Every single month, I feel like I was just winging it. It looks like I wasn't winging it, but I
Right.
really was. I was completely stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this year in 2025, I have my entire year planned of specials, social media. I just took like a good couple of weeks and I sat up and I thought, okay, here's January's monthly specials. Here's February. Here's my spring specials. What am I going to offer? So my entire outline is already done for
That's
2025. I know, and
great.
yeah, and then for this month, I actually tweaked it a little bit. And it doesn't mean it has to be set in
For sure.
stone, but I took my entire month and then I make a social media calendar, which I got this from another social media person to
Mm.
build your social media. Is I have a calendar, and then all like a first or a second week is like all wax, wax, wax. And then it's like a week of pro cell. And then it's like a week of chemical peels. Because if you do that, if you make like a post every day and it's Monday pro cell, Tuesday waxing, Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
chemical peels, people just see it randomly.
Yeah.
But if you are teaching your clients and you're teaching your audience and you're constantly posting about the same thing each week, they might catch it more of
I
it
get what you're
because it's
saying.
all chemical peel. It's all waxing. And they see it waxing, waxing, waxing. I've had people come to me and they're like, dang it, Angel, I keep seeing it over and over. I think I want to try the bikini because they're seeing it for a week straight or maybe 2 weeks straight
I get what
over
you're
and
saying.
over and over, random instead of like randomly
Random this.
random all over the place. So
Oh
get
yeah.
yourself organized, get a calendar,
Hmm.
and set what you're going to do for your social media. And honestly, do it just the same. I don't even care if it's the same post.
Right.
Post it 100 times for 2 weeks because not
I
everybody's going
don't
to see
see
your
it. I
stuff.
was gonna say that everyone doesn't see it.
Yep. So I am on schedule monthly for social media, and I am on schedule for an entire year of what my specials are going to be. So that way I'm not winging it and I'm not overwhelmed. And if you got to tweak it, you got to tweak
Right.
it. I mean, I
Right.
tweaked it a
It's
couple
like
times.
yes.
But that's how I stay on track. And then in 2 years is to own a building. So I had talked to the landlord about a different building. And, he's just like,
Oh,
whatever you got to do, I'll help you. And I'm seeing a financial advisor in April. And not only for personal use, but I want to set myself up personally. I want to make sure that
me
my kids
too.
know how to
They're crazy.
financially set their future, even though they're 8 and 11,
Yeah.
because they work for me. Addie's my
Oh,
little cleaning lady.
yes. Yes. Sorry.
They're there all the time. They live there.
Oh.
But not only for myself, my kids, and then for my business. So I want to say, hey, this is how much money I have. This is how much money I don't have. What
Mm-hmm.
is it going to take to get me in this 2 year and then stay on track? And if I get off track, maybe have a backup plan. But, I'm trying to manifest it. I'm trying to just
Mm-hmm.
tell myself this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I anything I ask for, I always get. And not to sound
Absolutely.
cocky, but I'm working hard for it. And
Yeah.
it may not come to me tomorrow or in 6 months, but I know I'm going to achieve it because
Mm-hmm.
even if you fall off the train a little bit, just get back on and believe in yourself. So my 2 year big plan is a building, and it's going to have a lot of rooms.
Yay.
So a
So
massage
proud.
suite, an esthetician suite, a sauna room. I want to do a salt cave. So it's like those
Oh,
Himalayan salt walls.
yes. There's a place
Yes.
down the street from me. It's called, oh my goodness. It's like a yoga studio, but it's like salt. And I keep
Hmm.
telling myself I want to go. It's literally
Yep.
down the street from the salon.
I
And I
want
was
a
like,
relaxation
oh
room so they can go in there and
my God.
detox before or after service. A sauna room. But I
It's
know, I mean, maybe I
so
won't get it in 2 years, but I'm going to tell myself that's a
yeah,
lot of time. And it's really not a lot of time, too, financially.
it's
But you know what?
not.
I'm just going to keep chugging along and doing it and doing it. And I feel like it'll fall into place because I know
What you
eventually
want.
I'm going to do it.
And you
Hmm.
will do it. You will. And
Yeah.
that's so funny that you said the financial advisor because all these years I've never had one. And I actually have an appointment coming up with the one. I recently went to an event and he was one of the speakers and I was like, I need a financial advisor because we all have goals, we all have plans, and what that looks like only so
Yeah.
it's very important, like you said. And I also just purchased a new planner. It's a financial planner, it's a client appointment. I'm going to send it to you. I actually just purchased I got my friend one, Adriana, for her birthday, and I purchased myself one. It's literally like a whole section about content. Monday, Tuesday, when it's I'm going to send it to you. I kid you
Send it to
not.
me as soon as we're done. Yes.
Yes, it literally breaks down everything from like how much you made, how many new clients, how many established. It's like perfect.
Yeah, I
And
need that
I found
because
it
I
on
do a mental
Instagram.
note. I print out, I use Vagaro, so it
Okay.
literally says how many, established, like returning new clients. So I make a mental note, but to actually see that, and I feel like we don't give ourselves enough recognition because, like, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm busy this month. I'm so happy,
But you
but
don't make your numbers.
to see those numbers, I
Hmm.
mean,
We don't even
it's.
count. We don't be like, wait a minute. Last month I only had 15 clients. This month I have 20. We just like, oh no, like we don't look at the small things, and we should.
We
We
need
should. It's
to.
very important because all you need is that little boost of confidence within yourself. And you're just like, I did that. I did. That's why any girl, I'm always celebrating something. I don't care. I'll celebrate
I
if
know.
I come I did a last set. I do not. People were like, "Girl, you always doing something. You're so dramatic." No, I'm not. I'm proud
No,
of myself.
you
What's wrong
have
with
to.
that? You should.
Yeah, you really need to. I feel like, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And it really is. And I learned that when you told me like happy anniversary the other day, and I
Yes.
was looking back on my pictures and I looked at the building. I mean, I looked at the room that I have, and then I went to work, and I'm like,
You did
oh
right.
my God, it came such a far way. And then we flooded the entire,
Yeah.
place was just gutted. And then I had to move all my stuff into another building, and I had to work out of this, other building, and then to move it all back in and push my grand opening. I mean, and it's just like now I think back and I'm like, I've come so far. I need to take that advice from everyone else and to celebrate even the small things, you
Absolutely.
know?
Because it's important. Always
Hmm.
celebrate yourself and you are your biggest supporter. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
You should always
Adriana says, all it takes is a woman with dream, motivation, and hard work. And it
absolutely.
does.
It
Once you want
does.
something, that's all it
It
is. It's
really
like,
is.
you want to go shopping, you want this
Mhm.
Bugatti, whatever it is.
Not a Bugatti.
Okay,
I wish.
I
I wish.
actually want a Bugatti or a Rolls Royce one
Really?
day. I know that's far. Yes, that's the only thing I want in life is a Rolls Royce, and I just think that
You will
um
have it.
I don't know why. I don't have expensive things. I don't have like, Coach purses and
Yeah,
Louis
you're not
Vuittons
really
and stuff like that.
into it. Yeah.
It's the only car I want. That's the only thing I want. Or my G-Wagon. That's the only thing I want. That's it. That's the only thing.
Talk
And
about
maybe
dream
spend a
house.
month in Bali. That's probably it. But
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice. Girl, I
I'm just
want
gonna
that Mercedes.
manifest that Bugatti in 3 years. No.
I
I
want
know
my
it'll take longer.
Mercedes, girl. Everyone knows my favorite car, the Mercedes GLE Coupe. Oh my God. I love that car. I'm going to have it.
You are, and you're gonna have it,
It might not be
because
this year or next year, but I'm going to have it.
yeah, you're gonna have it.
She
And you
said,
can
I
have
just want
anything
Range
you want.
Rover with lights on the roof. I know that's right. I love a good Range Rover. But yes, so any final thoughts before we not G Wagon me? She said G Wagon me, please.
Yes, G-Wagon. I want it in matte black. I saw it for the first time. I've never seen a matte
Ooh,
black one. I saw it in a matte black, and it's like my dream car right now. Like literally like
ooh.
number one. And that I would just, if I was handed all this money, that would be the first thing I would go out and
Really?
buy. Um I would go out and buy that G-Wagon. Yeah, it's my
I have a
favorite car right now.
Wrangler and I hate it.
Yeah. I
Drive
I don't care about any other car. I think it's the cutest thing, and I have
this
loved
nice
it since
car.
I watched The Hills in my 20s and they were driving the
Oh, that was back
G-Wagons.
in the day.
That's how long I've loved it.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully they don't drive rough because my Wrangler is a Jeep and I hate it. You're like this.
Whatever.
You hit a
Yeah.
bump, you're like this. I
Well,
hate
it's
it.
an off-roading car,
I
but
know, but
final thoughts would be
oh
don't give
yes,
up.
yes,
Just
okay.
like Adriana says, it only takes a dream and a
Mhm.
motivation. You have to know that this is what you want. You're going to work all the time. You are going to work and you're going to sit back and you're going to cry and you're going to contemplate life and you're going to ask yourself if it's worth it. And then at that time where you're just like, I want to give up or I'm contemplating about switching careers, that's the time where you sit back and you celebrate yourself and the small goals that you do. But you cannot do this journey for anybody else but yourself. So if you're doing this for the money or somebody else or just because you like skincare, it's not going to happen because
Yeah.
you have to do it for yourself. And this is something that you need to do for yourself. And at the end of the day, I have cried a million times. I've wanted to throw in the towel, but it's a very rewarding, a
Yeah.
lot.
And
Yeah,
that's why you're still
absolutely.
standing. So go ahead and promote your business.
So I opened up a spa 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we opened up our doors May 1st, 2023.
Mhm.
I'm a state certified esthetician. We do facials, we do waxing, we do hydrofacials, we do body wraps, we have massage. Um, God, what else do we
I need
have?
I need to come for a hydrofacial. I'm gonna have to take that trip.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a
absolutely. I'll
trip.
take good care of
This
you.
was like 45 minutes away from me, Richmond.
I'm in Richmond. Where are you at right
Well,
now?
I live in Westland, but the shop is in Livonia.
Livonia. You're an hour, but
Okay.
it's worth the hour. We can have lunch. We do a hydrofacial.
Yeah.
We just take the day together. Um,
Ooh.
but yeah, and I have a couple employees. Never thought that somebody would work underneath me, and I love it. Like I'm not even like the boss. Like it's my place, but I don't feel like a boss. I just feel like I walk in the door and I'm with my girlfriends and with my sisters, and I just love them. And it's just a great place, and I love the journey that I'm on. And at the end of the day, I just want to cry because the laundry is hideous. The laundry is never ending. and the advertising, and it's horrible. I'll go to like a water park or I'll go out to eat and I'll hear a song and I'm like, oh my God, that would make a great reel. Like
Yep.
I can do a waxing to this. It doesn't
Never
shut off. I
stops.
dream of reels sometimes. I dream of advertising. It's horrible.
It
But at the
never
end of the
stops.
day, do it for you, and celebrate yourself. Mhm.
Yay! I really just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining. And then also in the beginning, I don't think some of you guys were there. She literally was like, "Oh, it was because of you," and that just I really wanted to cry. I'm not because listen, we could literally go on and on tonight, but I try to keep it to like an hour. But I really just want to thank you. Thank you for being a friend for all these years, literally since 2012.
Mhm.
Okay.
I want to say thank you for this opportunity and thank you for taking the time. When I asked you, "Hey, what are you doing right now? Where did you go to school? What did you do?" You didn't say like, "Oh, no, girl," because the market is
Mm-hmm.
saturated. You literally told me, go get
Yes.
yourself, take this lash course, do this. So we need more of that
Mm-hmm.
empowerment for each
Mm-hmm.
other. And I just want to say thank you for being a good friend and helping me get Kaden out
Yes.
when I was pregnant and always being there. You literally answer. We 5 years could
Yes.
go by or 1 year and you still
Mm-hmm.
answer. And I thank you for your
Absolutely.
friendship and I thank you for tonight. And
Thank
get your
you.
butt over and we'll
I'm
spend the
gonna
whole day
text you
together.
when we get off the line.
Absolutely. And
Okay,
I
text
need
me.
that planner.
Yes,
So
I
yes,
got
or
you.
I'm stalking Adriana. One of you
But
two. I can see her Instagram, so I don't get that planner.
I will. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining tonight.
Yes, thank you
Everybody
for
have a great
watching and
night.
thanks for your questions.
Yay, you're welcome. Everybody have a great night. Bye.
Bye.